Okay, part two of basic training. 1992. Oh, hey guys. Welcome back to my series, my YouTube series called What's Next, Friend? Where I share a little bit about my story. And I haven't really been talking about what's next. I've really been talking about my history, but essentially the idea of this YouTube series is to kind of document my first year of retirement from military service. Again, 33 years, 3 months, and 8 days of service. I retired from the Air Force on the 1st of March, and I wanted to kind of document a little bit of that via this YouTube channel. I have an Instagram page called This Is Retirement _KNB, where I'm taking a photo every single day, kind of like what I did for my 50th birthday. So there's one place where I'm documented, and then I'm also documenting it here. I will get better. I think I kind of gave a disclaimer on the first video explaining what it is, but I'll get better with editing and all that kind of stuff. I am taking classes, so these will be much better in the future. But first video kind of explain what it is. I haven't really shared a whole bunch about what's going on with me next. I'm basically just explaining how my 33 years of service. I'm starting in basic training in 1992. At least that's what I have scheduled out. I will say that my next 2 to 3 posts will probably be a little bit different, but I will promise, I will include kind of what's going on right now. But these first couple are going to be just like my entry into the military, into the Air Force. And so part two of basic training, I think I left off talking about the chow runner. I was laughing about her, talking about when I joined. And so when I wanted to do radio, television, and broadcasting, I went through basic training without a job. When they were handing out jobs, they had like this special group of people that had to take different classes and special classes. And they were mostly for people who had assignments that were going overseas for their first assignment. So because I was grouped with those people, I assumed that I was going to be going overseas for my first assignment. Excited. Did I have a job yet? No. But did I think I was going overseas? Yes, I absolutely did. And then when orders dropped, people were going to like Japan, Korea. One person was going to Australia, believe it or not. Somebody else was going to Germany. I think there was one person going to Spain. And so I get my orders and it says DE. And I said, ooh, maybe I'm going to Denmark. Maybe I'm going to, some exotic European location. I later found out that DE stood for Delaware, which, yes, is a state, but I had forgot that it was a state. So my first assignment was to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. And so, like me, you may be wondering, well, why were you in that special group of people that had overseas assignments? Valid question, same question I had. Why'd you get my hopes up? I'm thinking I'm going overseas. Come to find out, whole time I'm going to Dover, Delaware. Well, I was in this special group of people because I didn't go to tech school. I didn't go to technical training because typically what happens for the military, you join, you go through basic training, and then from basic training, you go on to more training that teaches you how to do the job that the Air Force wants you to do. But I didn't get that luxury. So I essentially went from basic training to my first duty assignment. So I had to have my training, like on the job training, while I was actually doing the job. So it was me and maybe 3 other people we were called direct duty assignments. Those were our assignments, direct duty, which means you just bypassed tech school and went straight to your duty station. And I think they stopped doing that after my class graduated. I think I was probably the last class that had some people who went direct duty, which was pretty sucky for me and for my expectations, because I thought I was going to go to Europe. And then I thought that I was going to be able to get radio, television, and broadcasting. So all those dreams died all at once. I realized, no, I am not going overseas to Europe. I'm going to Delaware. No, I did not get radio, television, and broadcasting as my career. I got something called Aviation Resource Management, which was 271 was my AFSC. And you're going directly from basic training where everything is very, very scheduled. You get yelled at a lot. You have to be here, be here, be here. You're going from that very, very, very structured environment to your very first assignment where you just go. First assignment, you're just like everybody else. But the good news, once I did actually graduate. Graduation from basic training, nothing exciting. We didn't get any honor flights. We didn't get any. We survived. Flight W021, we graduated. No shade to our TI, Tech Sergeant English. I will never forget her. She was this little short blonde lady with a gold tooth, and she was very small, but those clickers on her feet made her feel like she was like 10 feet tall. She did the best she could with us, and we all graduated, but we didn't get any honors. Anyway, so graduated from basic, and then went. Actually, there was a story I was going to share about basic training. So, like I said, when we got there, it was us, and we were sister flight. There was a brother flight, and so we were together a lot. And so there was this guy who was really, really sweet, and he and I got really close. But there were a few couples, if you could really make couples in basic training, that kind of like got together whenever we had like patio time. And patio time is basically, at the end of the training day where you would have some free time where you could go out to the patio and go to the vending machines and get snacks and cookies and sodas and stuff, because you couldn't have it during training. And so we would get patio time with our brother flights, and so we would kind of hang out or whatever. There was a guy, I cannot remember what his name was, but he and I were like, friends, or what, I don't know what it was called. We weren't boyfriend, girlfriend, but we liked each other or whatever. And we would like pass notes and all that kind of stuff, because that's all we could really do. There was no cell phones. This was 1992. Anyway, and this guy, because we were there over the holidays, started on the 23rd of November in 1992, and then so we were there for all the holidays. And this guy liked me so much that he felt like I deserved a Christmas present. Did he have money? No. Did that stop him? Also, no. We had break. We had a little bit of liberty. Everybody was going to like the exchange and the BX and all these places. And the exchange is just like not the grocery store, but like a department store, or the shopping places that you can go to on bases, right? So he decides to steal some perfume for me from the BX. Now, did I know any of this happened when it was happening? Absolutely not. No idea. We didn't discuss any sort of gifts. There was no this, no sort of that. It was kind of like, oh, we hope we get assigned together, blah, 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 blah. He was going to be, what was his AFSC? Because he had a job. I can't remember what his AFSC was. I still didn't have one. I didn't know where I was going, but we was hoping that we was going to be going together. Come to find out, around the holidays, we have like door duty, or what is it? Yeah, we had to guard the door. I can't remember what any of these terms are. We had to guard the doors, and we were supposed to have like a special holiday meal, right? And I was looking for him and waiting for him, like, where did he go? Where is he? Come to find out, he was on a hold, right? They had put him in some sort of special hold or isolation. And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? Did he fail something? Did whatever. Gets a note from him, and he's detained because he was caught shoplifting from the BX. I said, why would he shop? There's nothing that you need. What do you need to shoplift for? Why was he shoplifting? His battle buddy was like, well, he said he wanted to get you some perfume for Christmas. And I'm like, I never asked for any of this. What are you talking about? So his career was cut short before it even started. He got caught shoplifting from the BX. I had this long, heartfelt letter to him, like, I'll look out for you. Whenever I graduate, I'll come find you, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, I cannot remember what this man's name is. I do not remember what he looked like. All I remember was this situation and how crazy it was and how everybody was clowning me, because apparently out of all the dudes in the brother flight, I was the one that fell for the felon. I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, that's all that happened in basic. That was the story I was going to share. I thought it was funny. I was talking to a friend of mine maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and she was like, well, what's this podcast going to be about? What are you getting? Not podcast. What is this YouTube thing going to be about? And I was like, hey, it's going to be telling stories or whatever, whatever. She's like, oh yeah, stories. I was like, yeah, I can talk about, basic training and the things that have happened. I was like, oh yeah. And this guy like stole some stuff from me when he was in basic training, got caught stealing. She was like, what? And I had forgot all about the story, but as I was like, have been talking about this with people, things like that come up, like where I'm like, I remember there's this dude who, got in trouble and ended his career. Anyway, so that's basic training. Cut to graduating from basic training, not going overseas, going direct duty to my next assignment, which was Dover Air Force Base, Delaware. So a lot of things that I wanted to happen didn't happen, but I did get some good news. So once I did graduate and go to the squadron that I was assigned to, 3rd Airlift Squadron on Dover Air Force Base, I was in a flying squadron. And what's cool about being in a flying squadron is that at that time, everyone who was assigned to a flying squadron who lived in the dorms had to have their own room, meaning no roommate, right? I didn't have to have a roommate. I didn't have to share a shower. I didn't have anything. I had my very own room because it was a flying squadron, and the air crew, due to crew rest hours and things of that nature, they needed to have their own space so that they could rest. And honestly, don't let anybody tell you anything different. The air crew, the people who fly the aircraft, are the superstars or the divas in the Air Force. And so I'm talking as Airman Basic Springer with no stripes, no nothing. Went straight from basic training where I had to share a room with, I don't know, 50, 60 some odd girls, to my very own space in the world. I had my own room and my own bathroom, and it was lovely. And all my friends who had to go to tech school, they were in similar situations as basic. It wasn't as large as a living bay. It was a little bit smaller, but they had to share everything. But I was kind of like on my own. But I didn't have a car. Which kind of sucked. And I didn't really know what I was doing. So that is how I wound up at Dover Air Force Base, Delaware. And I got there in 93, and I left in 95. Yeah, I got there in 93 and I left in 95. Because I graduated from basic training in 1993, January, and then I got there. So yeah, so that is basic training, and I'll tell you a little bit about Dover in the next video. But as far as what's happening now, so when I'm talking about the what's next, friend, a little bit of history about how I got here and a little bit about what's going on now. So I started my retirement in Greece. I was on a yoga retreat with my absolute favorite yoga instructor, but also with a bunch of people I didn't know. It was my favorite yoga instructor's her first yoga retreat that she planned. I was so grateful that she offered to me, like, hey, I'm doing this yoga retreat. These are the dates. I was like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be my first day of retirement. Absolutely, I'll go. I'll join you guys. So it was cool. I absolutely love starting every day with yoga. But it was, like I said, it was with a bunch of people who I didn't know. Starting on Friday, I will be going to this Black woman-owned wellness retreat in Arizona called the Genesis House, and I'll be going with my daughter, Jasmine, and 2 of my dearest, oldest friends, Vatrina Madre, or Trina, who I have known since, 1998? 99? It's been over 20 years I've known her. She and I first met at my 3rd duty station, which was Pope Air Force Base. And we kind of both went through our divorces together. My first and only divorce, her first and only divorce. So Vatrina is going to be joining us. And then also one of my dearest friends, Nia, is joining as well. And I have known Nia, I met Nia in 2002. Again, an over 20-year friendship. Nia is my ride or die. She and I have had some crazy adventures together. I'm going to try to convince her to come on and chat with me maybe one day for one of these videos. Because she and I, some of the things we've been through. But anyway, so I'm excited for that. That's another part of my my retirement journey. It's like I did the thing in Greece, and then I'm doing this wellness retreat with the girls, and then on the 25th of April, I'm gonna have like a dinner for some people who couldn't come to the Arizona thing. I did open the Arizona thing up wide, but it is a luxury retreat, so it's the price point can be a lot for some people. But I'm just happy that I have some friends that are like, girl, yes, tell me when and where, and I will be there. So until next time, that is kind of what's going on with What's Next, friend. I'll see you guys later. I'll probably be posting like some short videos, YouTube shorts. Yeah, that's what they're called. YouTube shorts over the weekend, kind of documenting some of the things that we're doing at this retreat, kind of like I did in Greece. And then like actual like videos like this a little bit later. But hope you guys are enjoying. Till next time.